This is me.
Just kidding. This is me.
My name is Amanda, and welcome to my podcast where I will be talking about pop culture, music, film, drama, and fan videos.
Hello, and welcome to the very first episode of the fall series on my YouTube channel called the Fall Series. So what I did is actually a critique and actually a review on the second half of the premiere of Dancing with the Stars, which is really exciting for me because I've been a fan of the show for a long time and I've never actually commented really on any of the dances before. So we can start off with that. So I would have to say that I've been a big fan of the show for a long time. As I just said, I do have some favorite dances and definitely certain dance professionals that I have actually swooned over on the show for quite some time now. But also, I would just like to just start off talking about the dances. Okay, so I'm gonna start off with actually the very first person that went of the night. His name was Matt. I would have to say on the dancing that he did is that I thought he needed more rhythm in his hips, and I thought he was actually too stiff. But I still thought he was actually entertaining. So I would overall give him a 7. And then for the next person of the night, so I'm going to be going like actually in order of like who went first to actually who went last. So for the next person that performed, her name was Olivia. And so I thought she had a very graceful performance. I thought it was actually very natural. I thought actually she was actually like a natural actually when it came to her dancing, and I thought her posture and her frame was actually very good. So I would have given her like an 8. So I thought that she was actually a very good performer, actually, for like the second premiere night for the show. And then for the next person, it was Kenya. She she definitely had a fun and upbeat performance, and I actually kind of thought she was a little bit stiff as well, but I definitely enjoyed her personality. She seemed like she was full of life and full of charm, so she was definitely very very entertaining to watch. Now, on for the next person. His name is Mike. I thought he had I also thought he was actually very similar to Kenya. I thought actually that he was full of energy. He definitely had a nice finale or like finishing touch to his dance, so I kind of really like that. I also have good posture. It's kind of interesting because I thought he was a little too tense and he seemed kind of serious in the beginning of his dance, and I also thought he needed to loosen up a little bit and to learn how to go with the flow some more. So, and then I'm trying to remember everyone's names like off the top of my head. And then for the next person, have to be Brian. I actually didn't think that he was doing too much dancing, and I kind of felt like his partner was doing more of the dancing than he was, and I kind of felt like he was pausing in like the middle of his dance too much, so I kind of felt he was a little bit awkward to watch, unfortunately. So I didn't really give him like a bad score. I just didn't even really comment on actually for his dance. Interestingly enough, there was only certain people I actually gave like a certain score to, and then like if I didn't really like it so much, I wasn't gonna really comment a number because I can get a little bit harsh on like certain dances that I don't like on the show. So then I'm just not gonna say anything about really about his dance at all. So for the next person, it would have to be Christine. I actually thought she was the most confident person of the night for sure. What actually when I watched her dance, so I thought that she had a very entertaining dance as well, and I thought she had the most rhythmic dance out of anyone. So I definitely actually enjoyed her dance as well. So for the next person, it was Jimmy. I actually thought he had the best technique out of anyone so far on the show. and I actually thought he had really good posture. And one thing I caught on when Carrie was trying to comment on his dancing is that she felt a connection to his dancing, and oddly enough, I actually felt the same way. So I kind of thought that was kind of interesting that she said that because I had the same opinion as well. And then moving on to Amanda, I thought she had a very elegant dance, and I thought she had actually smooth transitions in her dancing, and she also seemed like a natural as well. I thought she had really good technique. I honestly thought she had the best performance of the night so far. Unfortunately, I don't remember her score, but I think she got a really good score anyway. So I actually was really impressed by her dance as well. And then moving on to Miss JoJo, I was actually surprised by her. Actually, I was actually very surprised by her dance. I actually had no idea that she was actually known for being a dancer, but no wonder why, because she has the biggest advantage out of anyone on the show. She actually was very good as well, and she had a lot of energy. She was full of like tons of enthusiasm. I thought she had good technique with her legs, and she was also actually really fun to watch as well. And this girl, she felt like, to me, she was like kind of like the definition of bubbly and full of personality. So she is definitely out there. I'm not saying that she's weird, but like all I'm saying is that from like a mile away, that you could tell that this girl is very like full of life, fun, and bubbly. That just seems like kind of like her personality to me. And it's quite interesting because this is actually a special note. She was the reason why I wanted to watch this season of Dancing with the Stars, because she recently just made history for actually having the same sex, for actually having like the, for actually being the first girl actually on the show to have like a female partner. And I kind of feel like that was kind of important to me, because after watching the show for like a long time, I'm thinking, well, it's about time. Honestly, I kind of think that's kind of cool that she got to do that for this season. Okay, so then following the next person who did a performance was Iman. Apparently, I actually didn't catch most of his dance, so actually the main thing I said about him is that he had a pretty good technique. So unfortunately, I didn't get actually like a good view of his performance. And then for the next person, I have Martin. I actually didn't think that he was doing too much dancing. I kind of felt as if he was let in to do all the dancing. And I kind of thought that he probably had like the worst performance of the night out of anyone. I'm trying not to be too harsh on him. He probably tried his best, but I didn't think that he had a very good technique either. So to me, it didn't really seem like he was doing much. And so, yeah, I just wasn't really impressed with really anything that he did. And then moving on to Melora, I hope I'm pronouncing her name correctly. I actually thought that her dance felt too short, but I thought she was good too, as well as her technique as well. I think out of anyone, based on the scores, it was actually her dance that I did not agree with, actually based on what the judges gave her. So overall, I would have given her like a 5. And then moving on to Cody's performance, I actually thought he did a good job. He might not have been great. And so for his rehearsal, I thought it was really good. I thought he only made some minor mistakes but I actually thought he had an overall good dance. And I actually gave him a 6. To Mel C, who I was very excited to see, and as being a 90s baby and grown up to the Spice Girls. I was very excited to hear that she was going to be on the show, so she's definitely my favorite for sure. And so I actually thought she was good. I thought she had a good technique. I thought she was very natural, and I thought her performance was very elegant as well. She also had very clean transitions in her dancing, so I overall gave her a 7. So I think she did a good job. And then for the next person, I really hope I am pronouncing her name right. Suni Lei. I actually thought she had I thought out of all the females, I thought she had the best posture and like the technique out of anyone that night. I thought she was very precise, and I thought that her movements were very like super clean. I thought she was really like on like her on like her best game, like kind of like of like the night. And it was only really the premiere, and it was like kind of like the second night. I thought she did really good, and I thought she was I thought she came across as very confident as well. And then I think she was actually the last performance on the night. So my overall opinion on the night is that like I thought that Martin would probably be the first person to be eliminated, and he was. That wasn't really like a surprise to me. So that would be like my final thoughts for the show for the night. But for my overall comments, I kind of thought that the judges' scores were actually kind of a lot harsher than actually mine. I thought that based on everyone, I would have rated almost every single person probably higher, maybe except for maybe one or two people, but that actually concludes my commentary on the premiere of Dancing with the Stars.